Hi there, Aquarius. My name is Jason Augustus Newcomb, and I'm going to be giving you a general reading today based on the energies flowing through your astrological sign for the month of June 2016. So, the reading system that I'm going to be using is something called Geomancy. And Geomancy, it's also sometimes called Terrestrial Astrology. It's one of the oldest divination systems in the world, and many feel that it's one of the more accurate divination systems in the world since you're asking for advice and wisdom directly from the soul of the world, or the anima mundi. So to begin with, in Geomancy, you create 4 mother symbols. And for you, Aquarius, this month, the 4 symbols are Albus, Carcer, Caput Draconis, and a second Caput Draconis. Caput Draconis is generally considered to be reasonably good unless it's in a terrible situation. Means new beginnings. Carcer is considered generally to be rather negative unless it's in specific circumstances in which that, it would be good to be imprisoned, because carcer means confinement or imprisonment or feeling stuck. Albus, the very first one, is considered to be quite good, one of the best. It represents spiritual light, it represents knowledge, it represents good fortune. It's basically, if you look at it, the mnemonic for it is that it's kind of like a cup that's pointed upward, and it's good for it's like you're toasting the good things in your life. Albus means white, which generally means positive, white light, all that kind of stuff. And albus particularly means good fortune and good luck. So that's a good one to start with. And Caput Draconis occurring twice isn't too bad, and Carcer is a little bit confining, and we'll get to the specifics of that in a minute. But the 4 mothers then produce 4 daughters, and the 4 daughters and the 4 mothers together produce 4 nieces, and those nieces produce 2 witnesses. In this case, it's interesting because the witnesses are both Puella, which is again a positive symbol, and but when they're 2 together, it means that the last one is definitely going to be Populus, which is more of a neutral symbol. Populus just represents sort of it's like community. It's the population. It's stability, family, staying close together. It can be negative and imply that's a similar energy to the Carcer, or it can be quite positive. And in this case, surrounded by Puellas, it seems rather positive. You have a lot of recurring cards here. You have 3 Puellas, and you've got 4 Caput Draconises throughout the system. And again, Puella represents very positive energies, particularly feminine energies, but it represents like goodness, beneficence, happy things happening. So I mean, I would expect this to be a month that is filled with sort of happy, beneficial energy. And Caput Draconis means beginning, so it's going to be a lot of things beginning, starting, new energy coming into your life, bringing new positive things along for the ride. You have both Fortuna Minor and Fortuna Major occurring in here. Again, that emphasizes that positive energy. So I mean, I feel like Aquarius, you've got a very positive reading here. There's a couple of things that are a little bit more challenged, but and I'll get to them in a second. But for the most part, it looks quite beneficial for you. So let's start with the negative, and that is let's move it over to the horoscope version of things. There we go. So now all the symbols are laid around in an old-fashioned horoscope. This is the way that horoscopes were done previous to the 20th century. And we see in the second house, we see that Carcer symbol. Carcer represents feeling stuck. It means imprisoned, and you can see it's sort of like something containing you, feeling confined, feeling isolated, feeling stuck. Now, that in particular is in the second house of money. So this is gonna be a month most likely where money is gonna feel a little tight. You're gonna feel a little confined in your financial situation, or if you're not, there's gonna be a sort of a sense of tightness around it. It may, I mean, if you've got millions of dollars, I'm sure there are several people who are Aquariuses who have millions of dollars, just like in a bathtub. There's probably 1 or 2, you'd think. I hope so. I'd like to imagine that there's a couple people who have just a bathtub with $1 million of cash in it. Probably a drug dealer, but that's okay. I'm not judging. This is, but this is a feeling of being, you know, sort of stuck in your financial situation. It may be at the bottom of the end of the spectrum, or maybe at the top, but you can feel stuck on either side. So that's really the one truly negative thing in here at all. We see Rubius in the 5th house, which is the house of children and the house of sort of creativity and making things happen, and that means that's a passion and intensity. But in that particular circumstance with such positive things around it, I don't see that as being a particularly problematic energy. When we look at your health, we see Fortuna Major. Now, if you've been going through a health problem or something like that, this obviously means that it's moving in a positive direction. Okay, if you haven't been experiencing a health problem, this obviously means that you're not going to experience a health problem. Fortuna Major, major fortune. It's a good indicator that positive things are on the way. In your love life, also positive energies. Puella. So particularly if you are involved with a woman, whether you are a woman or a man, if you're involved with a woman, this energy is very positive for relating with women. But in general, it just represents a positive energy, positive interaction between people. So if you're not in a relationship, it indicates that one is probably on its way, or there's a lot of possibilities for you to create a relationship if you want to. If you are in a relationship, it indicates, you know, a feeling of closeness, a feeling of security, a feeling of positive growth together. It's a very positive card for your love life. In terms of your career, we see populace. And now what populace really means is kind of like, it depends on other people. It's not, you're not in control over the situation totally yourself. And that to me indicates that, you know, between these two cards, the Carcer and the populace, there's a sense of a lack of power in terms of where you're getting your income from, your money. But everything else is so positive around it that I wouldn't worry about it all too much. So that's a general kind of a reading for the energies that are surrounding you, Aquarius. If you'd like a more personalized reading, I want you to sign up for my mailing list. And when you do, you're going to find out how to get a free mini reading from me, personalized from me to you. See you next month.